Hello, welcome to the third video of this series where we are learning how to tackle various frequently asked questions in an interview. Now, the question that we have taken up today is tell us something about your weaknesses. Now, I am sure for most of us, this question can put us into an uncomfortable situation because this asks us to talk about our own negative points, which I'm sure most of us will not want to. So it becomes very important that we tackle this answer smartly, talking about our weaknesses, but still not letting them hamper our profile in any way possible. So let's look at few aspects of this answer. Now, in this video today, I am going to address few very commonly faced issues by the candidates related to this question. Those issues are: first is understanding the purpose of this question. What is the recruiter trying to judge in you when you answer this question? Second is, what if you don't know your own weaknesses? How can we find them? Next is mentioning the weaknesses in the answer enough, or do we need to add something else also in the answer? What kind of weaknesses can I look into for framing my answer? And last is discussing few examples that you can use as references to frame your own answer. So broadly, these are the areas that we will be addressing ahead. In case you are facing any other issue which is not addressed in this video related to this question, please make sure that you reach out to me by posting your comments below or by reaching out to me on email ID which I'll be sharing at the end of this video. I'll do my best to help you out. So let's start right away. First is why is this question asked? What is the purpose of this? So first and the very foremost thing that the recruiter is looking out for is your confidence level. Now, specifically in answers like these, where you are asked to talk about your own negative points, your confidence may definitely shake a bit if you are not well prepared. Because you, at the back of the mind, you're always worried if that's going to work in your favor or against you. So confidence is one of the most important thing. You need to show that you are really comfortable in your own skin and you are okay talking about your negative points also. Next is self-reflection. So how well do you know your own self? How well do you know your areas of improvement? And what have you thought of to work on them? Next is role fitment, very, very important point. The recruiter definitely wants to check that whether a candidate's negative point can hamper their role requirement or their organization culture in any irreparable way or not. So you need to express your weaknesses first in a very subtle way, and second, do not mention such weaknesses which will directly affect the role requirement. So this is all for this query. Now next is, what if you don't know your own weaknesses? Now this is one of the most common issues that I have seen, and there are different ways to resolve this. First is introspection. So you yourself, if you are able to think what is good in you, what is bad in you, where you need improvement, that can be one way. But I understand and I know that not most of the candidates get their answers through this way. So one more way that you can try is think about your failures in life up till now. It can be your failure in academic life or extracurricular life or personal life, anything. And think about what improvement you could have done in your own self to avoid those failures. So that is where you can come out with some of your weakness points. Let's say even if this doesn't work, then I am 100% confident the last technique will definitely work. That is, go and approach those people in your life whom you are closest to or whom you can always trust with such opinions about yourself. So, those can be your friends, your colleagues, your family members, etc. Go and ask them, and I'm sure they'll answer this very effectively. Next is, should I just mention my weaknesses? Is that enough? Definitely not. Just mentioning I'm not good at A, B, C is definitely not going to help you out anyway. You need to give out your plan of action, your steps that you have thought of to overcome those weaknesses. Only then the recruiter can see your acceptance towards your weakness and what you are really willing to do to overcome them. Next is, what kind of weaknesses can I include? So, types of weaknesses can be, first is personality based. So, if you have any personality based on a nature based weakness, so for example, someone can be a very introvert or a reserved person, someone can be a very short tempered person, someone can be a very impatient person. So, all of these are personality based weaknesses. So, you can look out for those for yourself. Next is profile based weakness. So let's say if you think there is anything which is not up to the mark in your own profile, probably your low academic grades, or let's say a very specific role based internship or work experience is something you feel that is missing, and maybe you can work out on those things, or a very strong technical background of a particular role is missing, anything like that. Profile based weaknesses definitely will be very less in number, and there will be very few profiles where you can use this, but this is also one of the options. Last thing that we'll be discussing is about some examples. But before I start with this, let me make this very clear. These examples are just indicative examples. These are suggestions that you can use as a reference to frame your own answer. Please do not copy paste weaknesses. If you are not honest in such answers, definitely the output is not going to be good, right? So, with this, let's begin with examples. First is financial illiteracy. So, there may be a lot of us who are not very confident about the economic terms, financial terms. Maybe you have never been exposed to those due to various reasons. And I feel financial literacy is something which should be important to each and every person from any domain. So, this can be one of your weaknesses which you can express, and along with the steps that you can take. So, for example, you may say you are planning to, let's say, read a financial newspaper like Economic Times Daily, or some financial magazine or blog, or maybe taking up a small basic course, etc. Next is public speaking. So, there may be a case that a candidate is very comfortable talking to anyone on a one on one basis, but not very comfortable in a crowd, let's say to address a crowd or speak within a crowd. So, that can also be one of the weaknesses. Next is delegating tasks. So, I have seen a lot of people who are so conscious about the quality of work that they want to deliver, that they want to do every part of the project themselves because they do not trust someone else's ability to do that, which is why they cannot delegate tasks. Now, this can prove as a weakness in a team based environment. So, you can definitely talk about this along with what you are going to do to improve on them. Next is being impatient. So, I'm sure a lot of us may be of the nature who cannot really be patient for the results to come, who will take hasty decisions because they don't want to give a very, very detailed thought over everything. So, yes, this can also be a weakness. Being too straightforward. Now, I've definitely come across people who are very straightforward about giving their opinions, and that may sometimes sound very rude. So, even this cannot be a very healthy thing in a team based environment. So you can definitely put this point forward with a positive twist that I am a person who is very clear of my own opinion, which is why, with very clear heart, I tell it out to people. But then sometimes it doesn't work in your favor, so you now need to slightly alter your nature and make it more subtle. So that can be one way. Next is being too sensitive. So, people who are very emotional or very sensitive by nature when it comes to personal relationships or when it comes to target based projects specifically, that can hamper their personal and professional life balance. So, this can also work as one of your weaknesses. Next is fluency in English. Now, this is also a very genuine weakness that a lot of us must be facing. That you may not have a very strong grip over the English language. A lot of factors can be the reason behind this. So, even that can work as one of your point here. And the last one is reserved personality. If you are a person who takes time to confide in people or takes time to make friends, to get comfortable, this is again one of the weaknesses that you can suggest. So, these are all the weaknesses for today, and this is all about the answer. In case you are looking out to have more suggestions on your own answers, this is where you can reach out to me on. If you found today's content helpful, if you liked the video, please do not forget to share it ahead as well as subscribe to the channel to keep getting such updates. Thank you so much.